topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Welcome to the Ask the Expert show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV, where we bring you educational information from top local experts in the fields of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. Now sit back and listen to experts in family law, association law, hearing loss, business brokers, home care, along with many other topics. Now here are your hosts, Steve-O and Sophia.
Hey, good morning, Florida. Welcome to another Ask the Expert show where we bring you the top experts in the field of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. We have got, this is the first Monday of the month. I can't believe we're already in June. That also means Provise Management Group. I got to tell you, they have been with us now for over 3 years, and they are the most respected financial management group that we've ever had on any of our shows over the last 15 years. We are so blessed to have them. Let me welcome you to Ray Ferrara. Good morning, Ray.
Good morning, Steve. How are you doing? Hope you had a good
doing
weekend.
Yes, wasn't long enough. It never is. But oh my God, Ray, I just heard that there's already a disturbance out in the Atlantic. That's early.
Yes, it is. But, you know, we had a storm last year in May that was the first named storm, even before the season started. So at least this one waited until the second day of the season to maybe show up.
Well, I hope we'll be safe. I hate some of the things I'm reading, especially from the Farmer's Almanac. But hey, Ray, you know what? We get emails almost weekly, people finding your show for the first time. And listen, podcasts have become just a way of life now. People love the fact that they can listen to a show on their time. And so because we get so many new people, tell people about Provise Management Group.
Steve, Provise Management Group is a financial planning and investment management firm based in Clearwater and Tampa, Florida. Although we have clients in over 30 states, about 1,100 families that we're helping with their financial planning and investment management. And we see investment management as a subset of the financial planning process, which is always continuing because this very scientific term, stuff happens. We're managing somewhere around $2 billion of assets on behalf of our 1,100 families, and adding new people every month, and would welcome the opportunity for anyone watching the show today to join our family. All they have to do is give us a call at 1-800-633-3049. That's 1-800-633-3049, and ask for our complimentary 1-hour consultation, totally without any cost at all. We'll visit in either Tampa or Clearwater, or by Zoom if it's more convenient, to get to know us better, or simply go to www.provise.com, PROVISE.com, and kind of gander around our website. If you like what you see, then give us a call at 800-633-3049.
And, you know, we made a decision that this show is so important that we opened it up for the entire state of Florida. Even though you've got even clients all over the world, but we opened it up for Florida. So if you're in Boca and you're watching or listening today, or if you're in Orlando, please give Ray a call. Also, people keep asking me about your website. It's provise.com, right?
That is correct. Provise, PROVISE.com.
Well, Ray, we, as much as we try to stay away from making this a political show, sometimes it's really hard, but that one big, beautiful bill is still on everybody's mind. And of course, last week the House passed that bill. I don't think they're going to have such an easy time with the Senate. What are the major provisions of the bill, and what's going to happen now?
So let's talk about it passing in the first place.
Yes.
While the president and the Republicans have billed it as the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, and it's actually the name of the act itself, the One Big Beautiful Bill. The Democrats, if you listened to any of them yesterday on the Sunday talk shows, we're calling it the One Big Ugly Bill, as opposed to beautiful. Anyhow, it passed by literally one vote in the House, because there was a lot of wrangling that had to occur, particularly with the conservative bloc in the House. Not one Democrat voted for the bill. 2 Republicans voted nay, and 215 to 214 was enough to get it passed. So major provisions in the bill. First of all, it extends all of the income tax brackets that came out of the 2017 bill. So 37% is the top tax rate. It's a very complicated bill because there are things that sunset in 3 years, other things that sunset in 5 years, some that are made permanent. And as we've talked about on the show before, it's only permanent until the next Congress changes it, back to whatever it wants it to be. But in addition to extending the tax brackets and continuing at the present level, the big areas of concern were the SALT deductibility, and that's state and local taxes, SALT, SALT. It's been $10,000. It was capped at $10,000 since 2017. There was a lot of wrangling. The president originally was good with 20,000, compromised to 30 to get it passed. It went to 40,000. So there's still a cap on the SALT taxes, but it's 4 times bigger than what we have today. The other large controversy was over cutting waste and abuse, as the Republicans referred to it. And the one that is taking the biggest hit would be Medicare. Now they're saying there isn't a hit to Medicare, and that sounds good. It's just that they've put in a work provision to keep people from just taking advantage of the quote unquote system. But the fact is, it is a deep cut to Medicare, and that is going to be one of the things in the Senate that is going to be discussed at great length and is likely to be changed before it goes back to the House. On the income tax side, the president had pledged to make tips tax-free. It didn't make them tax-free, but he did exempt in the Republican bill. It did exempt taxes on the first $25,000 of tips that someone got. So I'm willing to bet there's going to be a lot of people that are working for tips that'll report $24,000 of income, right, and somehow not report the rest of it. So that's a pretty good deal for them. He also promised to eliminate taxes on Social Security. We talked about this and said there's just no way to do that because of the money having to go back into the trust fund. But what he did do is, again, with some caveats around it, for people who are seniors, and interestingly, seniors was not defined in the bill. So everyone is thinking it's 65 and over, and who make less than a certain amount of money will be able to get an extra deduction of $4,000 per person. So for a couple, it would be an added $8,000, and that's even if you're even if you're a non-itemizer. you'll be able to deduct that money. And again, there's no sense talking anymore about all of the little minor provisions that are in there. Corporate taxes were held the same because whatever happens now is going to change when it gets into the Senate. Everybody is optimistic that in the next 32 days, by July 4th, that they'll be able to get a bill on the president's desk. I've said before, I didn't think that they would make it by the June 1st deadline that was initially set. I don't think they're going to make July 4th because with the Senate making changes, it's got to go back to the House. They're going to have a conference over it, compromise, et cetera. But we will be doing a special report once the bill is done and making it available to all of the listeners here at Ask the Experts. So it's a very comprehensive bill, touches on a lot of areas, both taxes and otherwise, but mostly people are concerned about the tax front.
I have to ask you about something that I heard this weekend that is in the bill that I had not heard about. I know, I don't know if you know about this or not, but they want to give $1,000 per student to be put into into the stock market. They can't draw it out until they're 18. Do you know anything about that?
Actually, it's not per student. It would be per child that is born. And they would put, I believe it is $1,000 into a one-time account that would be invested into the stock market. I'm assuming the S&P 500, but who knows?
Right.
And you're right. The child would not be able to touch it until they are 18 at the earliest. There are a couple of exceptions as to when it can be taken out for health reasons, et cetera. And perhaps for education, but it's designed to give them a boost at the time that they become a age of majority, which just happens to be the age in most states in which somebody can vote. So isn't it coincidental that this little gift is occurring just at the same time you're able to start voting? So remember, us Republicans, we gave you that money. I can hear that. I can hear that 20 years from now.
Do they said that it could possibly be worth as much as $50,000 when they
I don't think that's really very possible. You know, there's what we call the rule of 72, and it says that if you divided a certain rate of interest into 72, it would tell you how long it would take money to double. And if we took let's say a modest I'm saying modest, and when I'm doing that, I'm saying not any crazy numbers, an 8% return divided into 72, that's 9 years. So the money would double in 9 years. So 1,000 would go to 2,000, 2,009, and 2,000 will go to 4,000 when they're 18. So there's no way that that's going to go to $50,000. There's some conversation about whether additional money can be added to that by others, and then it might be possible for the money to be higher.
Well, that's why we have you here, Ray, to make sure that we really understand what's going on. We got a text from Sally in Sarasota. She said, "Now that I have turned 73, I need to take my required distributions from my IRA, but I don't need the money. So why am I forced to take it? What can I do?"
Well, Sally, it fits in perfectly with our prior conversation. It's all about the government getting money. When you put money into your 401k, your tax sheltered annuity, over the years, in most cases, that money was tax deductible. So you didn't pay any taxes on it when you put it in to start with, and then it remained tax deferred, essentially growing without you having to pay any taxes over the years. And you're not alone. There are lots of people in your situation who really don't want it, but what we have is a government that does want it, and that is they want you to pay taxes on that money. And they recently, a couple of years ago, I guess it was now, raised the age from 70 and a half to 72 and then 73. And in another few years, it's actually going to go up even higher before you have to start taking the distributions. But specific to your question here, other than having to take the money, you don't have to spend it, although no reason you shouldn't. I mean, after all, enjoy your retirement. But most people are going to pay their taxes and then roll over the rest of it and put it into their non-retirement money so that it can continue to grow, albeit on a taxable basis, not tax deferred. Sally, the one thing I'd recommend to you, however, is to work with your accountant or your financial advisor if you have one. And what we suggest to our clients is what we call fill up the bracket. So let's suppose that you are forced to take out just $10,000 of additional income this year. And we'll suppose that you're in the 20% tax bracket. If you look then at what your taxable income is, and if you're not at the very top of that bracket, you may want to look to fill up that bracket with even more money from your withdrawal from your IRA. And the amount above the required minimum distribution, take it and roll it over into a Roth IRA where it will grow tax-free and you don't have to take it out. So you're not paying any higher tax than you would be today because you'll still stay within the same tax bracket, not moving yourself up to a higher level. You'll take that money, that excess, let's say it's another $8,000, and you'll move that whole $8,000 back over into the Roth IRA. It's just a way to turn some of that tax deferred growth into tax-free growth for the future, and you're not required to take that money out at some time in the future.
Linda in Miami, I want to help my grandson pay for his college education. Wish I had a grandparent like that when I was going to school, but she wants to know, pay for his college education when he enters school this fall. Will he be taxed on the money?
Well, the good news is that you're able to give away $17,000 directly to your grandson, and you will have no gift tax, and he will have no income tax implications unless you're giving him something other than cash, which might have appreciated in value. And if you do that, look for those things that have the highest capital gains in them, because he's going to be in a much lower tax bracket than you are, most likely. And so you're kind of shifting that tax burden over to him, but him being in a lower tax bracket, he's not going to pay nearly as much as you might if you sell it. The other thing you can do, however, is if you are really wanting to pay a large portion of the room and board and the college tuition and everything, if you write a check directly to the university, then not giving it to your grandson, but giving it directly to the university, and pay for the tuition, room and board, and some certain fees that will be charged by the college, there is no gift tax to you on that gift. It could be literally the most expensive college in the country, which is about $80,000 a year this past school year. And you could write a check for $80,000 directly to the school, and there's no gift tax implications. You're a great grandmother for wanting to make sure that he stays out of debt, because unfortunately, the average student today comes out of college with something just under $40,000 in debt, which can be is a very heavy burden. And some who went on to professional school are going to come out with a couple $100,000 of debt. So kudos to you for wanting to help him. Those are two ways that you can that you can think about helping them. If you have other grandchildren that are coming up the line, you could think about opening up a 529 education plan and start making gifts to that today, and allow that to accumulate on a tax-free basis, and as long as it's used for qualified expenses. So gift to him, direct payment to the university, 529 plans for those that may be coming behind him at some time in the future. And Steve, I just want to remind everybody that if they want to take advantage of our 1-hour complimentary consultation, happy to meet in our Clearwater office, our Tampa office, or by Zoom, whatever is most comfortable. All you have to do is give us a call at 1-800-633-3049. That's 800-633-3049. And if you just want to explore us and look around at us a little bit, go to Provise, PROVISE.com, Provise.com, and you can see what we're all about and join our family of clients.
Marvin in Tampa just wrote us. He said, I love the show. I've been watching your show for the last year. I really respect your opinion, Ray. All I keep hearing about is AI this, AI that. Is it good to invest in AI stocks now?
So, Marvin, the short answer is yes, but you need to look at those companies that are in real businesses making money today and not those that are trying to do something with AI that may or may not ever get off the ground. You know, if you say we're doing this with artificial intelligence and AI, people are just gravitating to those without really investigating a company. But yes, there's no question that artificial intelligence is here to stay. There's no question that we are in the infant stages of artificial intelligence. But let me also say to you that it's a long slog. The Magnificent Seven last year were up dramatically, and all of it was the hype around AI. Suddenly people are beginning to understand, just as we've been telling folks, it's going to take 5, maybe 10 years before AI starts to really begin to be able to make a difference to the bottom line of companies. So sure, no harm in investing, but invest in real companies that are using AI and making money with it today. And the last thing you want to do is take a stock tip from your friend next door, who's going to tell you about the latest and greatest. The reason I got into the business 53 years ago is somebody gave me a stock tip when I was a young, wet behind the ears kid, fresh out of college. And I lost all of the money I invested because I listened to that tip. And that's what got me into this business in the first place. So work with your advisor, and we'd love to help you if you would like to. Again, give us a call at 800-633-3049.
Ray, your show goes by so fast, but great news. Ray's going to be back in 2 weeks with more on Ask the Experts. Thanks so much, Ray.
Steve, take care. Have a wonderful week, and I'll look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks.
See you then. That's Ray Ferrara, Provise Management. That'll do it for us today. We'll be back next week with more Ask the Experts.
Thanks for tuning in today to the Ask the Expert show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV. Tune in next week and every week to hear more from our experts on personal injury, insurance, air condition repairs, estate planning, Medicare, and many other topics in the areas of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. See you next week.